The Sisters Grimm podcast is intended for mature audiences only. Please listen at your own discretion.
Tiptoe through the window.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
The most notorious serial killer in the nation.
The Night Stalker.
The Boston Strangler.
The Son of Sam. The infamous Zodiac Killer.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Get away from her, you bitch!
Welcome to the Sisters Grimm podcast.
How'd you do this? Show you.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the podcast. It's Morgan and Holly here, Sisters Grimm.
That's us. And I helped.
You do most of it.
No, that's not true. I've been slacking.
I love that.
I don't
Me
do
too.
anything.
We're lazy, and that's okay.
We basically just do the podcast, and then we'll be like, hey, everyone, on one social media outlet.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, I mean, like, enough of y'all are cool and subscribe and stuff.
Okay, we're already getting into a weird place.
Okay, so I will just, put another $1 in the Rami Malek bucket for me.
That's fine.
He's going to be, apparently, it is owned by Apple.
What is?
No, because I said I apparently. So, I didn't really, it's like rumored supposedly, but IMDb made it seem like it was real, but Rami Malek and Denzel Washington are going to be in an upcoming movie about a serial killer, and they play the detectives in the case. Ooh. And it's called Little Things. And then also, I mentioned in our wickedly talented Ted Bundy mini-sode episode, like how he was obsessed with that book Papillion, and he somehow was able to send it to a bunch of people
get
without
1 million of copies without
what
Amazon being a thing yet.
Exactly. What are you, Ted Bundy? Amazon.com. Rami was in the movie adaptation of the Papillion.
Whoa,
and he played this guy Louis Dega, who's the one who helps Papillion or Henry get out of jail because it's a French story. Also, staying on the topic of Rami Malek, we can segue perfectly into our episode topic, which is vampires, because he was in one of the Twilight movies. Boom!
Oh, yeah.
Bitch!
He's in the, second Breaking Dawn, bitch.
He has maybe, 2 lines, but...
He's like, hi, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, but, also, when you...
We're starting the vampire episode with Twilight? Come on.
No, Rami was just, the entrance into, we'll talk about Twilight later.
For him. Shh.
I don't want anyone.
Shh. No one can know.
Don't tell anyone. But yeah, no. His
Vampires.
eyes do most of his acting. Yeah, no, but no.
I feel like, not to circle back to Twilight, but I feel like they picked actors with very expressive eyes, and then they picked Kristen Stewart, who has no emotion in her eyes to prove that she's not a vampire.
No. They picked her based on her amazing ability to bite her bottom lip
and then touch her hair part
and grab her hair and be it's so
to,
visual.
touch her part of her hair.
Yeah, they.
Anyways, we'll get back to Twilight.
Yeah, can we not start? Whoa,
I don't want to.
I just got a random reminder on my phone that says Jean Beignet Ramsey.
What?
I don't know. So yeah, let's start this episode with a little bit of history of vampires.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to know about that, shit.
Everybody wants to be a vampire. At least I do.
Yes, Morgan is actually. Forever. You got me into vampires. I mean, I guess we
love vampires.
I mean, I guess we can kind of talk about it when the things come up. But so yeah, we'll do it that way.
Yeah.
So. Cool, I'm glad we just talked about this all on whatever. So, Greek mythology is where, vampires first came up. There was a story of a young man named Ambrosio and his love Selena. Ambrosio fell in love with Selena after he visited the sun god Apollo. He asked her to marry him, but Apollo was,
nah.
Yeah, he was nah. He was mad crushing on Selena himself. And, so he, turned Ambrosio into a vampire, apparently. And because, like, he's the son of God, or the son of, or the god of sun, rather. He's not the son of God. Like, that's why, like, vampires can't, be exposed to the sun. And then also, he made a deal. So then Ambrosio was, like, fucking pissed. And he went down to Hades, and he was like, what the hell, Hades? Like, Apollo turned me into a fucking vampire. I'm patient zero for vampirism. And Hades was like, well, it's cool. Like, just drink Selena's blood, and you and her will be immortal, and you'll be able to live together forever. And so he did that. And so that's, that's
how
that's how the blood sucking and sensitivity to light came into
and also the biting the person and them also becoming a vampire.
And so then I also was wondering, why the garlic?
Yeah, what is up with that?
Garlic is a deterrent to mosquitoes who also suck blood. So it's applied to the lore of vampires.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then bats.
Interessante.
Interesting. I think I just did a Ren impression.
Yeah.
So then I was wondering, like, what's the, like, correlation between what's the T with bats and vampires? And they became,
it's because
well, it's with Bram Stoker. Oh my god, Bram Stoker.
Which that book is literally right there.
Yeah, no, but you know that there's
Dracula.
There's a porno. You just blew out all the levels.
We'll come back to that.
You know that there's a porno called, like, Bram Stroke Her.
Oh, you
or
know,
something.
Bitch.
I mean, there's Twilight.
That's the
porn.
The thing of porn is if you can think of it,
yeah,
it's
Rule
been
34.
created.
Yeah, no, dude, you can go down a wormhole. I was doing it the other day with, like,
what? I don't even want to. I'm actually gonna. I have to pause this really quick because I have to tell you a story.
Ooh, you all just missed a big old juicy one, and I'm not even going to say anything.
Honestly, it wasn't very juicy.
Honestly, you probably could have. I think the topic we'd mentioned before, but it's all good. So back to bats.
Back to bats.
Vampire bats apparently, like, contributed to that, but then I was like, well, which came first? Like,
right, the name vampire or vampire bats?
Or vampire bats.
What have we looked up, like, what the word vampire derives from?
Like the what is it, etymology of it? I have not looked that up, but I know you can on Google. But Bram Stoker's novel mentions like bats and that they turn into bats, and there's also a book, and the author's name is Sir Richard Burton, and he wrote a book called Vikram and the Vampire, and the vampires turn into bats. So,
the word vampire, a lot of people think that originally comes from Hungary. Vampire spelled vampire, and it just means witch.
Yeah, it's like a blood witch, basically. I read that too, I think. But yeah, no, it's like, didn't you say something about, like, how, like, people always, like, Dracula always talks like this because the movies came, like, the actor was from Romania.
Yeah, that's the only reason that people think that.
I know, which is cool because we're fucking Romanian and Hungarian.
I know.
So let's get into, so we're going to talk about, let's talk about books, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about Bram Stoker's Dracula. It came out in 1897, and it's a gothic horror novel written by, I didn't know that Bram Stoker was Irish.
Oh.
The main character is Count Dracula, and it tells the story of the Count's attempt to move away from Transylvania to England so that he can find new blood and turn more people into vampires. So he's, kind of like the Mormons.
Oh my god,
yeah.
For sure.
But Dracula's plans are thwarted by Abraham Van Helsing. So
Van Helsing is such a hot take.
We all know the story. Like, that, like...
We've all seen Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire.
Shut the fuck up.
Everyone remembers that DCOM. God. Everyone remembers that DCOM.
Shut the fuck up.
With one of the ants from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
No, that wasn't... Yeah, no, that was like... Yeah, that was a Disney Channel original movie.
It was a DCOM, bitch.
DCOM. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, Disney Channel original movie, DCOM.
Oh, I'm dumb. Yeah, so, like, it's written, like, the book is really cool because it's written like a diary that's sprinkled with, like, newspaper articles and stuff. It's very cool.
Yeah.
So, obviously, also there's Interview with a Vampire, which people are obviously probably most familiar with the movie. But
Totally. That was my first, I think, vampire movie.
your first
I had ever
into
seen.
vampirism.
I think so. Because I loved Kristen Dunst so much.
Oh, yeah, and little baby Kirsten Dunst is, like, she's so, like, adorable and angelic. So the book came out in 1976 by Anne Rice, who our dad, by the way, knows.
Well, he's interviewed her.
And he talked to her because when he had his radio show, a lot of his things were
Book related.
well, yeah, he would talk to authors. That's why if you look at Dad's book collection, he has some really fucking weird shit.
Right, because they're all gifts.
Yeah, because, like, obviously they would give him a free book.
Yeah.
So in this story, vampires can die by drinking the blood of dead people.
Yeah, once the blood goes cold, I think is what they say.
Yeah.
Like, you have to stop drinking before the person's actually dead, which seems hard.
Yeah, so it centers around the vampire Louis de Pont du Lac.
It's also French.
A great last name. And he tells the story of his 200 years of life to a reporter.
To Christian freaking Slater.
Oh my god, aka Mr. fucking Robot.
Yeah, dog. Oh my god, he was such a zaddy in that movie. Not that he's not still like a zaddy, but like, oh, An Interview with a Vampire.
He's a zaddy in fucking Mr. I would say that, like, obviously right now my favorite show is Mr. Robot.
We know.
I call it Dr. Robot.
I call it Dr. Robot all the time.
I think it's because of Sonic. It's because of Dr. Robotnik.
For sure is.
Which isn't even his real name. His name is like Dr. Eggman or something.
Dumb.
It's like that weird, it's like the fucking Mandela effect all over again. But Claudia, the little girl who is Kirsten Dunst's character, was actually inspired after the author Anne Rice's young daughter Michelle, who died while the book was being written.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was like, I just moved, which was another reason why there was such a large gap in between our episodes. And so I've been like trying really hard. I've been like putting like all my books together, so like all of my true crime books are together, all of my like Boxcar Children.
All of your Twilight series.
Shut up. I will never get rid of my Twilight books.
Same. We're looking at Eclipse right now.
I know, because
we're holding up the microphone.
Well, we needed something to hold the microphone up, so we're using one, like, shoebox, and then I found...
And then a copy of Eclipse.
And Morgan's hidden Eclipse book she keeps in the back.
I don't know why I had it in the closet. I don't remember putting it up there.
Liar. You know you were reading it, and then Maria, or your... A.K. Morgan's roommate came in and you threw it in the closet.
No, I think it was the bathroom book for a while, like keep it by the toilet, but then like I think I finished it, so I just like put it up there or something.
Thanks, Stephanie Meyer, for reading material while you poop.
Sometimes I don't want to look at my phone.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I love reading, but I don't because I tried reading this book. So I was looking for books.
Interview with a Vampire?
No, I was trying to read this book because I was looking at my books and I found that I bought this book called Dracula Go Home just because I thought it was funny.
Dracula Go Home?
Dracula Go Home.
It's like Dracula's too drunk. It's like Dracula Go Home.
Dracula Go to bed. Like Dracula just go to bed. And it's from 1979 and it was so bad, even though it was only 80 pages with lots of illustrations and like 15-point font. I couldn't finish it.
Was it like a kid's book?
Kind of, I guess. I don't know.
Young adult?
Yeah, okay, so it's about a kid named Larry who goes... Yeah, it's YA. It's like this kid, Larry, who goes to stay with his aunt for the summer, and she, like, owns a hotel or something. It's like that whole... You know, like, when you go... You know when, like, your mom's like, hey, you should go stay with your aunt who owns a hotel for the whole summer and work there. You're like... Yeah, I don't want to hang out with my friends or watch, like, Nickelodeon all day or anything like that.
Learn what jerking off is.
Right, exactly. No, I want to go work at a fucking hotel. I didn't get into the book long enough to know how old Larry was, but anywhoozle. So it starts out and he like first gets to town and he like sees Dracula. And I'm like, this is fucking stupid. And then I turn the page and it was a picture of Larry and his aunt. And Larry literally looks like the police sketch of Ted Bundy. And I'm like, I can't read this anymore. Plus, I had to get back to Dr. Robot.
I get it.
So now we're going to get into, like, pop culture things. And I just want to mention a very, very important vampire in my life. In your life, too, I think, is Count Chocula.
Oh, my God.
The yummy
I mean, I don't eat a
cereal.
lot of Count Chocula.
You're more of a Frankenberry.
Blueberry.
You're more of a blueberry?
Well, no, what was the strawberry one?
That's Frankenberry.
Yeah, like Frankenberry. But no, I mean, I like Count Chocula
And all of the
best.
Groovy Ghoulies.
But I'm really more of like a boring cereal kind of gal, like, Cheerios or Rice Krispies.
Ew. Grape
Crispix.
nuts.
Ew, why would you even say that?
No, it's not as bad
Dad
as
eats grape nuts with half and half. That's like so gross.
Dad is fucking Scandinavian as fuck. No, they eat that kashi cereal that looks like maggots.
Yeah.
Whenever Mom brings over food to my apartment, I'm like,
have we met?
yeah, I'm like, do you know me?
But yeah, no, Count Chocula,
Count Chocula's
make
yummy.
you chocolate milk.
If you
Slurp
don't,
it.
yeah, no, it make you. It's literally it's its own invention. And if you ever want to get it out of holiday, Dollar Tree keeps it
Out of holiday?
like because they only sell it around Halloweeny times.
That's not true. Count Chocula you can get all the time.
Maybe it's just Frankenberry and Blueberry you can only get then.
I don't know.
I swear to God. So everybody who grew up anytime, honestly, because Sesame Street has been on since the goddamn 70s.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the Count
Yeah.
from Sesame Street. 1, 2. I mean, that motherfucker taught me how to count.
Yes.
But there's actually a reason that Sesame Street's Count is a vampire. Because in old folklore, it says that vampires had erythromania, which is having an obsession with numbers.
Interesting.
So, like, Sesame Street fucking did their
That's
homework.
cute. I kind of love that.
I know. I thought that was really cute, too.
I did not know that.
So the first vampire movie that I really think we need to talk about is Vampire's Kiss, which stars just Nicolas Cage.
Wait, we haven't talked about, like, we gotta go all the way back to, like, fucking...
The first vampire movies? Oh, right. So I need to talk about
about
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Okay, well, it's based on Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's from 1922. That is almost fucking 100 years ago,
y'all.
Morgan.
It's almost 100 years ago,
Yeah.
very soon.
It's always available
On Netflix, right?
Well, fucking, it's almost 100 years old, so it's
It's
just
on everything
just
because it's
in the public domain. I didn't realize it was not a talkie.
22!
Yeah, and I also realized I don't like silent films. So
it depends. I've been able to get into a couple. Like,
I could not.
Well, because they made us watch so many in film school, so like
Yeah,
there
I
had
feel
to be
it.
like one that I was like, all right, I feel this.
I mean, his face is creepy.
Yeah.
And then,
so at least for me, when I think of Nosferatu, I think of
Nose?
that episode. You might not know this, but a lot of
Nosferatu.
other people will. There's an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants called The Hash Slinging Slasher. And it's an episode where Mr. Krabs decides that he wants to keep the Krusty Krab open 24 hours, so they have to stay there overnight because there's only 2 people who work there, aka SpongeBob and Squidward. And so the whole night,
what a fucking idiot!
like they're getting scared, like there. And then like they keep like having like the lights flickering, and then like they think that this guy's coming in to murder them. Long story short, it's just this guy who's like, I don't know, his hand's like weird. And then at the end, they're like, well, who keeps turning the lights off? And then all of a sudden it just goes to like a video of Nosferatu like turning on and off the lights. And then SpongeBob and all of them just go, Nosferatu! And then the episode ends. So that was my introduction into Nosferatu was SpongeBob. I had not heard of the movie before that.
So after this episode, we're gonna
watch
that clip.
Oh no,
that's
we'll watch
super
that
funny.
whole at least because it's like 2 like little things an episode.
Yeah.
We'll watch at least that part because I think you'll love the hash slinging. It's one of my favorite episodes.
I grew up and I feel like I was at an age where like like, it was cool to like SpongeBob for a little bit, and then like all of a sudden it was kind of like a little kid show.
Well, Dad also like talks shit to us about. He was like, "This show fucking sucks."
He also said that about all that, so Dad is
and
like,
Rugrats.
Dumb.
He like didn't like anything we liked.
It's like, yeah, Dad, that's because you're a grown up and you don't like kid shows.
He's like, "This is garbage. You guys should watch Perry Mason with me."
Yeah, he's like, "I'm sorry, I have to go talk about law."
Yeah, fuck you.
Or like whatever.
He's like, "Let's watch L.A. Law or Law and Order." Or I'm like, "Can we watch anything else?"
Fucking Law. L.A. Law, honestly though, super great show.
Yeah.
So, I guess if we're going in order, I mean, I don't really know what comes next, but there's like
probably the original Dracula.
IDK. Well,
IDK,
also
we should probably know
Nosferatu. We don't have to know anything. Werner Herzog, if you're not familiar with his work, he's the one who made Grizzly Man. The one where the man dies from a grizzly bear.
Okay, so the original Dracula came out in 1931, and that's Count Dracula is played by Bela Lugosi, and he was the one who like had that accent, and that's what people like think when they think of Dracula.
Yeah, that's that.
Then they remade.
What was he like?
He's Hungarian.
What was he? Show me his.
He's Romanian.
Romanian.
But then they made. But then in 1992 they made Bram Stoker's Dracula, which fucking Gary Oldman, and that one is so fucking good. I've not seen the original, but the one with Gary Oldman is. I mean, it's Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, Anthony Hopkins. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch anything with Gary Oldman. I watched fucking the
like
movie
the makeup
Tiptoes.
in that movie. Yeah, no, Gary Oldman's fucking fantastic.
Have you heard of the movie Tiptoes?
No.
It's his complete...
We're getting off topic a lot.
Whatever. It's a funny... Okay, so it's... Gary Oldman plays a little person, is all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Just watch it, and Matthew McConaughey's in it, I think. I don't remember.
Matthew McConaughey, hey.
McConaughey. So...
McConaughey.
I know you wanted to go in order, but...
It's fine.
I don't know the order now, but I do really want to talk about Vampire's Kiss, because it's craziest movie with Nicolas Cage, because he, like... thinks he's turned
and
into
also
a vampire.
I just want to make a point with saying that we're not going to talk about Vampire in Brooklyn. I don't want to. We kind of did during the Wes Craven episode, and I just don't want to.
No, this is the only mention.
Love you, Wesy, but like that's it.
But yeah, no.
Bye, Eddie.
I mean, and there's also great other there's a Blackula.
I've never heard of that.
You never heard of Blackula?
No.
Yeah, it's a Black Dracula. They got very clever. But anyways, there is an amazing scene in Vampire's Kiss, and I'm going to show you the clip afterwards, and I may put it in here. I'm not sure, but he says the alphabet like Nicolas Cage would say it. I don't know. It's just amazing. So there's also I wrote down the band Vampire Weekend.
Totally.
I love Diane Young. I just love that song so much. I just love, because they talk about the fucking Kennedys.
Right.
And you know me, I love the Kennedys.
Always want to bring up the Kennedys when you can.
Also, so first of all, I think a good way to get into like the like more current movies would be, picture it, Easter 2007. Morgan and I are in the backseat of our parents' Jeep Commander watching, and we have the ability to watch a movie.
Right.
And so we decided to watch the movie 40 Days of Night. That vampire
40
movie.
Days of Night, because there's also that other Josh Hartnett movie called 40 Days and 40 Nights, where he tries not to have sex for all of Lent.
Yep.
So it's 30 Days of Night. It's very confusing. There's a lot of Josh Hartnett movies that are counting.
He can only be in movies with numbers, except The Faculty and all those other movies he's been in.
Well, he was also in, what was that one war movie that has numbers in it, too?
12 Years a Slave?
I'm just going to pull up. You talk about it.
You talk about okay.
Well, 30 Days of Night is fucking great. It's about that time in Alaska.
Wait, is it 30 days or 40?
30 Days of Night.
Oh, no,
because
no
it's
wonder
a
I put the wrong thing.
A month-long sun in Alaska, which does actually happen every year.
And that would fuck me up. I don't understand.
And so it's about, like, a group of vampires who go to this town knowing that they can just kind of, like, feast because they don't have to worry about the sun.
It's like the serial killer.
That movie's fucking great.
It is good.
And the vampires are, like, cool and, like, weird.
But I just remember you, like, talking about, like, you were telling me, because I remember the vampires in that movie, like, when they talked, it was like,
Yeah,
Sorry.
there was a lot of that. But then there was also that one part where that girl's like praying to God, and that one guy's like, "No, God."
No, but I remember this was around the time that you had just started reading Twilight. Okay, I have to explain to you guys, there was a time in the world, like in our lives, where the Twilight books weren't
garbage.
Bad. They're garbage now, like in retrospect, obviously looking back.
But when they first came out, it was like, okay, so I'm going to talk about my personal experience with Twilight.
I was just going to say, like, I remember very vividly you being like, actually, vampires are supposed, like, they're actually, like, really beautiful and stuff. And, like, that, because you had been reading
I was
Twilight.
also, like, fucking 13.
I don't fucking care. It was
okay, so
cool
you
made me read it.
The reason that I even read Twilight, I had not heard about it or anything.
Didn't
we were
at first.
That's what we were at a bookstore, and Mom and Dad were like, pick out a book. And so I was just like in the YA section, and I thought, I saw this book, New Moon, and I was like, this sounds lit. And so I start reading it, and I'm like, I feel like there's more that I should know.
Oh, God.
Like, why is it already so understood that all of this has happened?
Like, why are there so many established characters?
And then I realized that it wasn't the first book, and so I went back and read them all. So
you had a completely different
I don't even think
Twilight
Eclipse had come out yet. It was like New Moon had just come out. And I think it was like the newest book, so that's why I bought it, not thinking that it was like a part of another book.
I think, well, because then I remember, maybe it doesn't matter what fucking year it was, but I just remember like sitting, like laying in my bed at night at Bradley University reading Twilight and thinking it was so good.
That was the lamest sentence I think I've ever heard.
No, you know what the lamest sentence ever heard was? Morgan and I went to the midnight showing of the movie Twilight.
Wait, no, I have a better one. I have a better one. Mike won.
No.
So,
wait, hold on. Not only did Morgan and I attend the midnight showing of Twilight, Morgan and I were the first two people into the building to see the midnight showing.
Which was honestly, you guys, like, a big deal. So, no, it's because Maria, my roommate Maria, who has been on the podcast before, she worked at the local bookstore that was right across the street from...
Shout out to...
The Book Mouse that is now very much so closed.
They always had chinchillas.
They did. Well, that's because the lady who owned it had a chinchilla. So they gave out... It was like... Even though it was just the first ticket bought for the Twilight series, but we thought it meant that we were first in fucking line, so we fucking told everyone that, and they fucking believed us.
Yeah.
And so even though Mike had the first ticket, my fucking little ass was the first one through that.
Oh, yeah. I remember you little bitch ass pushing past. I was...
we had the best seats.
I don't even know if I want to say this on mic, but I was wearing a shirt that I made myself that said Team Edward.
I hate you, were you?
I hate me too.
Yeah, well, you also, I remember, cried the second that Edward stepped onto screen, and I made fun of you, and you were, like, so mad at me.
Yeah, I also
think we got in a huge fight directly afterward.
I think that was also one of, like, the nights... That was, like, before I started, like, smoking pot.
Way before you started smoking pot.
And I think I don't remember.
We're talking a lot about Twilight for both of us saying that it's basically garbage.
Well, okay, but I will say that the books at first
were God.
Okay.
And the movies are fucking hilarious. I want
but
everyone...
You have to wait
I want everyone
end of the book
to go... If you've never seen the movies, who cares? Their sex is lame. If you've never seen these movies and you just want to laugh really hard at a scene, you can probably even YouTube this. There's a part in New Moon... when Bella is, like, for whatever reason, in the book, she's able to just hear Edward's voice, but in the movies, they had to, like, make it more clear. So they showed, like a vision of Edward, and this motherfucking bitch makes the craziest face I've ever fucking seen in my life. The first time she sees it, she's, like, walking towards this, like, guy on a motorcycle, like, trying to be cool. And because Edward, like, wants her to be, like, safe, he's like, Bella, don't. And she literally looks like she just swallowed her tongue. It's like the craziest thing.
And Anna Kendrick is there, and she's like, I got a ticket for my runway out.
Okay.
Anyways, but yeah, no, we've already talked way too much about Twilight.
I agree.
So let's talk about the movie, An Interview with a Vampire, that has our Lord and Savior Tom Cruise in it, as well as fucking Brad Pitt,
as well as fucking Antonio Banderas, who we all like live for. Who's that one actress who's in it that's really good too, and she gets her titty bit And that scene really turns me on for some reason.
Because
I
you like
think of
having
her
your
name
titty
right now. I'm
bit?
gonna have to look it up really quick.
Fandy
Newton.
Fanny Newton.
I thought of it. I screamed Fandy Newton.
She'll love you for
But
it.
God,
Fandy's
that movie is
such a
so
fan.
good. And Christian Slater. It's such a good movie.
We just keep saying actors' names and are just
Yeah, we're
like,
not really talking about it. So, Interview with the Vampire. It's about Louis, who is like this
200 years old, and he's
Well, yeah, and he's telling the story about when Tom Cruise bit him and turned him into a vampire, and then they become, like, basically, like, really good homegirls, even though, like, Louis really secretly hates him.
Yeah.
And then Louis turns Kirsten Dunst because she's about to die, because I think her What were they? They were all, like, dying from something. I don't know if they were all, like, dying from hunger, or if they,
I don't know.
No, they all were, they all
Was it
got...
the Spanish flu or something?
They all got something, yeah. And
well,
so...
that's how...
He brought Kirsten Stewart.
Back to
Kirsten
Twilight.
Stewart. He brought Kirsten Dunst back to life. And then she gets really pissed because she's never going to grow up to be an actual woman.
Oh, Kirsten Dunst and Kirsten. They're both Kirstens, not
There's
Kristen.
a lot of Kirstens.
Wait, is it Kristen Stewart? No,
it's Kristen Stewart.
Oh my
But
God.
honestly, I don't know or really care.
I don't fucking care.
I don't care.
I know the American Girl doll's name is Kirsten. And she got a weird butt.
Kirsten.
Okay, so... Yeah, I mean, great movie. So there's also the movie Daybreakers. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. That is with Ethan Hawke.
I haven't.
It's pretty good. I don't really remember it, but I remember it being good.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Amazing fucking movie.
Really cool
Has
movie where the vampires
best-
have green blood instead of red blood because he wanted to be able to get an R rating instead of an NC-17.
That's
and
amazing.
it's a good way to
did
get a
not
lot
know
more
that.
like blood. I've been recently listening to the podcast that goes along with Eli Roth's show, Masters of Horror. There's a podcast which is just like the full interviews, and he did one with Quentin Tarantino, and I listened to it yesterday.
Oh, nice. I would just like our listeners to know that Morgan, I think I've talked about her hoodies before.
I like to be really cozy when we record the podcast, but my feet are warm, so I just took those socks off.
She has the one hoodie that makes her look like she's playing a lamb in a Christmas pageant.
Oh, well, that's my favorite one, but it's too heavy. I can't wear it now.
She's wearing one, and you literally look like... You remember the TV show David the Gnome, or was that before your time?
That's before my time.
Does anybody else remember David the Gnome, and him and his wife like slept in like a closet or something?
What? And I look like them?
You look like a little gnome.
This hoodie or this sweater is so fucking comfortable. It's like I don't even know what this material is.
I don't know, but
it's
we're
so
talking
soft.
too much about it. So there's also Buffy,
brought it up.
the Vampire Slayer.
Shut the fuck up! I love Buffy the fucking Vampire Slayer.
But first, we have to talk about the fucking
Spike
movie that has Kirsty fucking another Kirsty. What is it with all these Kirsties and vampire movies?
I didn't love that movie.
It's
like not as...
R.I.P. Luke.
Oh, I didn't even think about
R.I.P.
that.
Luke Perry.
I forgot Luke Perry's in that movie. Now I want to rewatch it.
It's
I just
good.
remember, like, whenever that
It's
movie would be
good.
on, I'd be, like, excited to watch it, but I'd also be, like, bummed that it wasn't reruns of Buffy.
Yeah, no, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV show, is literally, like, one of
and I still love it.
greatest
I
creations of all time.
Oh,
It was
for sure.
So, it was, I mean... If they had a fucking musical episode,
That's all
Spike,
I'm gonna say.
yeah, literally.
Would
oh my
fuck
God.
Spike today. Would fuck Spike tomorrow. Would have fucked Spike 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
I will go back in time and fuck him when the strike of midnight.
I
when he
will
turns
say, though,
18.
Angel was, like, not my favorite.
But I will also say that for some reason, our dad loved Angel.
I just think he likes that actor because he also
think
really likes
David,
Bones.
Yeah, he loves David Bowie.
David.
Blah, 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 blah.
Angel sucks, but Buffy was
so-
everything. Sarah Michelle Gellar is just like really that bad. She was
Yeah, I mean, there's so many vampire movies, but another one, obviously one of the greatest vampire movies of all time, is Let the Right One In.
Yes, which
The
is originally a
Swedish
Swedish
version.
movie. Yeah,
The American version is still good.
Yeah.
I mean, it just...
I've only seen the American
such
version.
a good story because, I mean, it makes so much sense because you're like, oh, this... I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but it's really fucking good.
I mean,
but,
ruin it. That's what we're doing here.
No, I don't... Well, okay.
And if someone
has
hasn't
been out a
seen
really
it, yeah,
long
it's been
time.
out a really
so
long
it's
time.
like this... I mean, obviously, since she's a vampire, she's like a young girl. She's probably like, I don't know, like middle school age-ish.
Yeah, like 13, 14, 15.
And it seems
maybe.
like she's living like with her old father, but actually it's just like a guy that she, like, fell in love with, and they've just been living together, but then she, like, kind of falls for this other boy.
Who's, like, an actual little boy.
Who's an actual little boy.
Or, like, her age.
That's why it's so fucking creepy. Again, going back to Twilight, Edward is in his hundreds, and he starts dating a fucking 17, 16-year-old?
It's gross.
It's fucking
pedophilia is all around us, you guys. It's fucked
Pedophilia is fucking hilarious. So, it's not. It's disgusting.
It's really not.
Yeah, but...
Please don't say that.
This can, like... Yeah, don't... We do not...
We don't endorse that.
Fuck that, yeah. So, but this can bring up the rules, I guess, for vampires. And this one is, you have to invite a vampire into your home. Otherwise,
which I kind of love that rule.
Fucked up. Yeah. So
Ooh,
there's
Fright
like,
Night.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Fright Night. Oh, my God.
The original, not the shitty-ass one with Colin Farrell, even though we do live for Anton Yelchin, R.I.P. That was a bad one.
And we also fucking live for David Tennant, a.k.a. the
Doctor.
Yeah! A.k.a. 10.
God, that movie is so bad, though. I really only saw it
It
one
was
time
really
in
not
theaters.
good. But the original is very good.
The original is great.
Oh, duh. And we can't fucking make it out of this fucking room without talking about goddamn Lost Boys.
Lost Boys. Lost Boys was one of those movies that I literally was so obsessed with that I would watch it every day, over and over and over and over again.
That's because we both loved the Haim. Yeah, we were in the. Yeah, we were Corey girls. Yeah, no, we were both Corey Haim hard.
Oh my God, Corey Haim all fucking day, you guys.
When you have an obsession with one of the Coreys,
it's really hard.
You watch. It is.
But also, I was also really madly in love with, because I would watch...
Sutherland?
No, but like now, yeah.
Duh.
No, but I was so in love with Sam, whatever, from the Goonies.
Oh, yeah.
I would like him and like Corey Haim were like my little crushers. Even though like I knew what he grew up to look like and it wasn't as like tasty.
You know, it's whatever.
But I was young and I was like, yeah.
Daddy. I just, do you remember, I mean, this isn't a vampire movie, but do you remember that one Corey Haim movie? I forget what it is, but it like takes place in like the 50s, I think, and it's something about like cars.
Yes.
And girls.
I only bought it because it was a Corey Haim movie and it was not good.
Bitch, I bought it. Or we bought it jointly. I know, I bought it. And Robbie Coltrane Hagrid is in it.
Yeah.
As not Hagrid. And it's weird seeing him as not
The
Hagrid.
Lost Boys is so fucking good because The Lost Boys also talks a lot about like things you can and can't do, and they very much so talk about like the garlic thing, and the staking thing,
and the vampire like thing, and they hang upside, and also they're supposed to be they sleep in coffins. Oh,
or they just sleep upside down.
American Horror Story.
Oh yeah,
fucking Gaga was a vampire. Doy.
Yeah, well, they weren't like totally vampires, but they also were. Something really important we need to get to also is fucking True Blood.
Oh, God,
because True Blood is probably one of my favorite television shows of all fucking time. I will rewatch the first and second season probably once a month because holy shit, the second season of that show is so fucking good.
I will say so though that earlier I made the joke of Alexander Scarface to Morgan and she didn't laugh.
I was going through something at that time and you knew that.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it any further from that.
Suki.
So, Twilight. True Blood.
Twilight on
True Blood came out in a very pivotal time of my sexuality.
I just grabbed to take a drink of your Apple TV.
Love that. Or were you going for my really old drink from Sonic?
No, I was honestly going for the Apple TV.
Okay, so anyway.
The show was way past your sexual...
No, it came out when I was like 13. That's like when I first watched True Blood.
What?
Yeah.
What? I forget how much younger
you are True Blood is based. So True Blood is based off of the book series that Charlene Harris created called the Sookie Stackhouse series. And I will say these are the one book that I do not think hold up to the show. The show is so much fucking better. And I think everyone kind of knows that because in the book, Tara's not even a character at all.
Really?
Lafayette dies in the first book. No. So that means he would have died like in the first season. And I'm sorry, but Lafayette is like the best fucking character in that whole fucking movie.
I mean,
it's like, give me Lafayette, give me Jason, give me Jessica, give me Alexander Skarsgård. But holy fucking shit, you guys.
I mean, you, Morgan, were obsessed with that show and watched it like beginning to end, but I just like I
love that
loved
show.
watching it with you. I mean, wasn't Sookie like a fairy or something?
She ended up being a fae or a fairy. You just ruined so much for someone who hasn't seen that show yet, but that's cool.
Oh my god,
that's like the best part of the show is when she finds it out.
26 years old and it started when you were 13. I think it's enough time. It's literally been
oh my god,
13
one of the
years.
best lines in that show is when they like because, like, you find out that she's a fairy at the end of an episode, and then the beginning of the next episode just starts with her going, I'm a fucking fairy?
Isn't that literally, like, the, like, cliffhanger of a season? And
I don't think
the
it's
next
this
episode,
maybe.
is it? I swear to God it is. And
I don't know. That show gets very crazy towards the end. I won't say it gets, like, bad, because I loved it all the way throughout.
His name was Bill, right? The, like,
Bill
main guy?
Sookie.
Yeah, I did think he was very hot, and I do love that they're together IRL.
Me too.
Sookie. Yeah, I just remember really liking...
It's such a good fucking show.
Well, I just like that, like, it's just kind of, like, normal that there's vampires, and then it's kind of...
Well, it's super political.
Yeah, they make it a human
It's
rights
super political.
thing.
They're basically, like, making... like, what is happening with the vampires in that show is shit that's actually happening with minorities all around
in the world. Yeah.
America all the time.
It's an allegory.
For, like, fucking
it's like
sure,
fucking
dude.
Allegory.
And,
So-
like, sorry, I could talk about True Blood all fucking day.
No, I mean, like, go for it. Like, are there any rule? Like, I know that
so in
when
True
they
Blood
go
you
to
have to be invited in, and you can't be out at night. In True Blood, instead of being out at night, they don't glitter, they fucking explode. Or they don't explode, but they, like, rot.
Oh, yeah, no, we forgot about the glitter.
Also, something that's cool in True Blood is that vampire's blood is a drug, and they call it V.
Yeah.
And it literally makes you, like, so fucking horny. And it also makes, like, you feel all crazy and amazing, and
What
it's
channel
like
did that show come on? HBO?
HBO for sure.
Yeah, so it was like super sexy.
I wanna do better things to you.
I remember I liked the theme song, but I remember there was like a really gross part with like a rotting fox that made me sad.
Yeah, there's a lot of like stuff in the theme song that
It's
like
just
we're all
super
not
cool,
like
'cause it's
obsessed
all,
with,
like-
but it's
because it's like down and like
everything about
I
that
just
show is
love
amazing. I have not
good
one negative thing.
Yeah, I just love a good like Louisiana accent.
And I always kind of thought I looked like Anna Paquin a little bit because she's like cute,
Yes.
blonde hair, thick nose, little gap in the teeth.
I get it.
But she's like obviously way hotter than me.
I
but
loved her in the movie Fly Away Home. Remember that
are
one
you
where she's friends
kidding?
with
I
geese
love
or
her
ducks or
in
whatever?
fucking She's All That.
Oh
when she's
my
like the
God.
Betchy sister who like makes over. Anyways,
She's the one who like I love like the I want to see like the
she's like what's her name? Lexi. So, Lexi Boz, get your cute butt down here.
It's not that, but like it basically is.
It's basically that.
So now we're gonna talk about some goddamn vampire killers. Some true crimey shit.
Some real life fucking vampires, if you will.
Some people. So obviously there is Vlad the Impaler.
Mm-hmm.
He was a Romanian prince, also known as Vlad the Vampire. And this was like in the back in the good old 1400s. His nickname was actually Dracula, which is why Dracula is synonymous with vampires, and why he got, or where what's-his-face got the name, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And so when prisoners of the Ottoman Empire were held hostage, Vlad would torture them and drink their blood. So that's how he got the name. So actually, just kidding, probably the other thing came first.
This is going to be really weird, and like I'm really opening up here with you guys right now to say that there was a point in my life where I liked blood.
Like, drinking it?
Like, tasting it.
I mean, I think everybody... I mean, like, I remember, like...
Because blood's
when
never freaked me out. Like, I could literally watch someone... Well, I don't want to bring this up. But, like, blood just doesn't freak me out at all. Like, people who get, like, freaked... Like, Maria, my roommate, she gets so freaked out by blood. I could kind of care less. It doesn't gross me out.
No, I'm one of those people where when I see my own blood, I pass out.
Yeah, I'm not like that at all.
I remember...
But I've also never, like, really hurt myself, so maybe that's it.
You have too. You broke your arm in 2 places. You were just too
Didn't
young
bleed.
to probably remember. You did too. You just don't remember.
Yeah, I was 5.
It penetrated the skin. Or no, it wasn't a fracture.
It wasn't
like that.
a complex fracture.
No.
Or a compound fracture.
I don't remember, but no. That one time that
I just broke it in two. I just broke it in 2 different places.
Well, that one time you took me to the hospital and she was taking my blood and she fucked up and my blood started squirting.
Yeah,
everywhere.
that was just like a bad nurse.
Well, no.
She also asked you if it was the right side of your body, as though she didn't know.
Well, yeah, no, she was a bad nurse, but I was gonna say, like, do you have a problem with blood? And you were like, oh, no, she's fine with blood. And I'm, like, trying to lay down. I'm like, yeah, not my own, like, flowing on my body onto my Sperry boots. So, there was also Peter Kürten, who was the vampire of Dusseldorf, who you guys may have heard of.
Dusseldorf, girl. Dusseldorf.
Shout out to the Dusseldorf.
Shout out Germany.
His crimes took place during the early 1900s. He got the vampire moniker because he would sometimes drink his vampire's blood. He had 9 confirmed kills and over 30 attempted murders. He was described as the king of sexual perversion, and he was put to death by beheading with the guillotine. Do you say guillotine or guillotine?
I say guillotine.
I do too, because it's French.
Totally.
But I hear people say guillotine, and I'm like, what? So there's also, I'm going to butcher this name, and I'm very sorry. I should have looked up beforehand. But Susumu Miyazaki. He's Dracula, also known as Little Girl Killer. His crimes took place during 1988 to 1989, and he mutilated and murdered 4 little girls, the youngest being 4 years old. He would also molest their corpses and drink their bloods. And they would...
Bloods. Kind of like the gang.
He drank their bloods, and he would eat their hands.
Huh. I wonder why the hands.
Because he's gross. He would also terrorize the families of the victims by sending them letters describing what he did to their children. And he was sentenced to death in 1997, and then he was executed in 2008. Good. Marcello de Andrade. He was from Rio de Janeiro. In 1991, he began a killing spree that only lasted for 9 months. Marcello's victims were 14 young boys who he raped and drank their blood so he could be as beautiful as they were, he said. He justified the killings by saying that he preferred young boys because they're better looking and have soft skin. He also told them that the priest told him that children automatically go to heaven if they die before they're 13. And he said, so I knew I did them a favor by sending them to heaven. Yeah.
Don't people think that, who's the woman
but, like,
who, like...
priests, but I mean, in Catholicism, like, you're born with the original sin, and they have to get baptized, which we don't need to get into a whole religious debacle.
But, didn't people think that, what's her name? The one who bathed in people's blood.
Oh, Elizabeth Bathory.
Did people think she was a vampire?
She didn't drink it. She just, like, rubbed it all over herself.
Like literally bathed in it.
To get... But, like, for this, like... But, like, yeah, for the same purpose. To, like, for a youth thing. There's also that thing that, it's called the vampire facial.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you get all of...
Kim Kardashian does
it?
If I want to get it done.
If you keep up with the Kardashians, you basically just get a bunch of, like, little holes poked in your face.
And then they just rub your blood all around.
And
I guess it, like, circulates... It, like, recirculates the blood in your face. And it helps with, like, discoloration and, like, tone.
Yeah,
tightness.
Really gross.
Who knows?
Yeah. So
I'd try it.
The next serial killer we have is Nicola Clau, and he's from Cameroon, which is in
Cameroon.
Yeah, shout out to Cameroon.
There's the first winner of RuPaul's Drag Race is
Cameroonian?
from there, and she always says Cameroon.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that was what that was.
So he was working as a mortician at the time of his arrest, which was 1994. When police searched his apartment, they found skeletal remains and blood he had stolen from local blood banks.
Damn.
He considered himself to be a Satanist and was a necrophiliac and cannibal. He would eat strips of flesh off of people while he was, like, working on them in the mortuary. Yeah, it's like, you know how, like, when you're working and you, like, have a bag of, like, goldfish crackers next to you, but instead of that, it's like you're eating flushes of skin.
You're eating people's
flushes
chunks.
of skin.
Eating people's chunks.
People chunks. He was found guilty of 1 murder and was sentenced to jail for 12, but got out in 7 because the question of whether he was legally sane at the time of the crime came to light, and now he sells art on a website. It's called Hyena Gallery, and he draws pictures of serial killers. And you can buy all kinds of shit on the website, including John Wayne Gacy's paintings to an old phone card. Like, you know, like phone cards?
No.
Like, you buy a phone card and it has, like, so many minutes on it.
Like a SIM card?
No, like a phone card. Like, you have your phone card, and then you, like, type in the code or whatever.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You can buy ones that had O.J. Simpson on it, back when he, like, endorsed shit, obviously. So, there's also Philip Oncharancha. His killings took place during the early 2000s in Kenya. Supposedly, he was in a cult whose leader told him to kill victims and drink their blood as part of a ritual, and evil spirits gave him a lust for the taste of blood. The victims were women and children, and he said he targeted them because they were the easiest to subdue. He said, when the urge comes, they're the easiest victims.
That's fucking pussy shit.
Yeah. According to his confession, he said he had wanted to kill 10 people. He said, my target was to kill... Or no. Oh, blah, blah, blah. He said, when he was confessing, that his target was to kill 100 women. I managed 17, and I have 83 to go. Yeah. So, there's also, like, Richard Chase, but...
Yeah, like Richard Chase is the one I really know about.
Well, we can just talk about him now. Sure. We don't need a whole episode for him.
I don't think so. At least at this point,
He's probably the most well-known American serial killer who also had, like, vampiric tendencies.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, obviously, because he was called the Vampire of Sacramento. So, in a nutshell, basically, Richard Chase killed 6 people over the span of 1 month and ate their remains and drank their blood. During his adolescence, he became obsessed with bodily fluids and would inject himself with rabbit blood.
Ooh, rabbit blood?
Yeah, because why not?
That's not, like, the best idea, I feel like.
Yeah, no,
I feel like that's really gross and yucky.
Well, yeah, he
would, like, inject it into his own veins, or, like, inject it just into his body?
Inject it into his veins.
It's hard to find a vein.
Well, they didn't say if he... I don't know, they didn't say it, but... he was hospitalized for it, so like it's very bad to do. Yeah, obviously. He would
a lot of iron.
Yeah, he would prowl neighborhoods and enter homes where the doors were unlocked, and he thought that because they were unlocked,
that
it was considered an invitation, like a vampire kind of. He was arrested.
He's the one who said that.
Yeah, he was arrested and found guilty of 6 counts of murder in the first degree and was sentenced to death by gas chamber. But he was found in his prison cell in 1980. He had killed himself after overdosing on antidepressants, which he'd been saving up for weeks. Which is a fucking bummer.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe tell that, like, you know, SpongeBob vampire story. Yeah. So Nosferatu. You son of a
I'll find that
bitch.
So we can watch it.
Yeah, everyone look that up on YouTube.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, look that up. And if you haven't seen Kristen Stewart's face, I actually want to Google it. I want to see if I can, like, if I just type into YouTube Kristen Stewart's face in Twilight, if that's the first thing that pops up.
Well, I always think of her face when she's, like, kind of turning into a vampire.
Oh, that's bad, too. Oh, my God, in the first movie.
She looks
when
like
she gets
coming.
bit, she literally, it's worse than that.
Her eyes are rolling in the back of her head like she is coming. E. Cummings.
Let's see if it's the first thing that pops up.
Probably not.
It's not. It should be, you guys. It's in New Moon, and it's the motorcycle scene. Maybe if I type in Kristen Stewart,
I don't know, but we'll watch it on our own time, and you guys can watch it on your own time. But before that, you should go to our Facebook page, which is that facebook.com/Sisters Grimm Podcast or something like that, and like us and like comment, and you know, we're back at it.
Follow us on our like own like Instagrams too, because that's probably where we're definitely the most like active. Yeah. And so mine is Morgan D. Freeberg. Holly is Holly Cheeseburger.
Yep, that's me.
That's where we're gonna post the most like updates about the podcast, most likely.
You guys, I've been a cheeseburger this whole time.
Pretty much.
It's just Morgan.
And I've been a Freeburger.
Morgan's a human being, and she's just been sitting next to a talking cheeseburger this whole time.
A talking cheeseburger who does most of the talking.
I'm just thinking of the movie. Shut the fuck. It's a really chatty cheeseburger.
I'm thinking of Good Burger.
Good Burger
when they're like, Ed, don't eat
Yeah, that's when you know you need to end
We
the podcast.
love you, Ed!
That's how you know you need to end the podcast.
When you want a cheeseburger, but it's really your best friend, and you take a bite out of them.
Hey, man.
We've all been there.
I'm a dude. She's a dude.
He's a dude.
We're all dudes. Hey.